Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we are going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Sam fought Kyler instead of Miguel during the events of Cobra Kai Season 1? So in this timeline, the events of Cobra Kai Season 1 would still happen. Miguel would still move to the valley, and he would still be picked on by Kyler and his friends. Johnny would still save him and offer him to teach him karate, so Johnny would still train Miguel in Cobra Kai, and the events of Cobra Kai would carry on. Sam would still date Kyler in this timeline. Miguel would still be friends with Eli and Dimitri. Johnny would continue training Miguel. Aisha would still join in this timeline, and Kyler would still beat up Miguel in the boys' locker room, and those events would stay the same. Johnny would still vandalize Daniel's billboard, and Kyler would continue messing with Miguel, Eli, and Dimitri. Sam would eventually find out, and she would still break up with him in this timeline. Kyler would spread rumors about Sam, so she would still confront him in the cafeteria, but in this timeline, Miguel would be nowhere to be seen. Sam would start to get angry, and she would sidekick Kyler, and he would fall back on a table. Kyler's friends would be caught off guard, and they would start attacking Sam. Sam would use her training against them, and she would start to fight back. But since Sam hadn't trained in years, they would get some hits in on Sam, and eventually Brooks would have Sam in an armbar, and Sam would be sent to the principal's office. Daniel would be mad at Sam for fighting Kyler, and since Miguel never fought Kyler in this timeline, Cobra Kai wouldn't get any students, and Johnny would continue training Miguel and Aisha as normal. Robbie would show up at Cobra Kai, and Johnny would be surprised to see him. Robbie would see that Johnny had changed, and Johnny would eventually convince Robbie to join Cobra Kai. So Robbie would join Cobra Kai in this timeline. Miguel would be happy that Robbie joined Cobra Kai, and he would want to be friends with Robbie. So Robbie and Miguel would start to become friends, but Robbie would still be jealous of all the attention Miguel was getting from Johnny. So this would push Robbie to want to be Cobra Kai's #1 student, so he would have a friendly rivalry with Miguel. Sam and Miguel would still become friends because they would still be lab partners. Miguel and Sam wouldn't date in this timeline, and since Cobra Kai only had 3 students, Cobra Kai would have to shut down, but Johnny would continue training his students at the park. Kyler and his friends would still mess with Miguel, but Miguel would eventually fight back, and they would leave him alone. Louis would still burn down Johnny's car, and those events would stay the same. Daniel and Johnny would start to become friends. The night of the All Valley, Cobra Kai would still enter, but they would only have 3 students, and the tournament would stay the same. Cobra Kai would still advance in their matches, and both Robbie and Miguel would make it to the finals, but in this timeline, Robbie would be fighting with no mercy, and he would defeat Miguel in this timeline, so Robbie would be the All Valley champion, and since Cobra Kai won the All Valley, Johnny would be able to afford rent at the dojo, so Cobra Kai would reopen. Many students would want to join Cobra Kai. Kreese would still come back in this timeline, and those events would stay the same. Daniel and Johnny would still be friends, but Daniel wouldn't approve of Kreese. Eli would join Cobra Kai around this time, and he would become Hawk. Tori would still join, and she would start dating Robbie. And months would pass. Eventually Johnny would see the influence Kreese was having on his students, so Johnny would decide to kick Kreese out of Cobra Kai. But eventually Kreese would come back and retake Cobra Kai as his own, and he would kick Johnny out of Cobra Kai, so Johnny would form Eagle Fang in this timeline, and Robbie, Miguel, Aisha, and Tori would go with him, and Sam would start to get an interest in karate. Since Johnny and Daniel were friends, Sam would end up joining Eagle Fang in this timeline. Cobra Kai and Eagle Fang would have a rivalry, but things would be a lot more peaceful in this timeline, and that is where I'm going to end this What If. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Sam fought Kyler instead of Miguel during the events of Cobra Kai Season 1? Let me know in the comments below. All members have access to emojis that can be used in comments and live streams. This isn't mandatory. This is only something extra. If you want to support the channel even more, YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.